Chapter 1: The Heavy Ascent. There is a quiet, dangerous arrogance that infects the high achiever. It does not look like vanity, nor does it sound like boasting. It arrives disguised as competence. It is the belief that because you have mastered yesterday's domain, you are fully equipped for tomorrow's fire. Imagine a man walking up a mountain in late autumn. The stone steps are cold, slick with moss, and winding deep into the fog-shrouded peaks of northern Japan. His name is Tokusan, a scholar of immense repute. He carries heavy scrolls tucked inside his silk garments, bound with leather straps. For 30 years, Tokusan has studied every major philosophy, decoded every ancient text, and defeated every rival in intellectual debate. His mind is a fortress of facts, a massive archive of prepackaged answers. He is ascending to the isolated monastery of Master Nan-in, a legendary Zen master whose quiet wisdom attracts seekers from across the provinces. But Tokusan is not climbing this mountain to seek guidance. He is climbing to test. He wishes to demonstrate his vast intelligence, to debate the master, and to prove that his accumulated knowledge has raised him above the ordinary struggles of human life. As the wind howls through the pine trees, Tokusan's breath turns to mist. His muscles ache, but his ego shields him from the physical toll. He believes his vessel is complete. He believes his vault is full. What Tokusan does not realize, what millions of modern professionals, leaders, and creators fail to recognize today, is that the heaviest burden a human can carry up a mountain is not a sack of rocks, but a mind full of its own certainty. When you believe you already know the terrain, you stop watching the trail. And on the steep precipice of self-mastery, that invisible friction is precisely what causes you to fall. Chapter 2: The Armor of Intellect. Tokusan reaches the heavy wooden gates of the temple. Rain begins to fall, tapping softly against the cedar shingles. He steps into the dim, shadowy interior of the master's quarters. The room is stark, empty of luxury, scented only with dried cedar and aging straw. Sitting quietly on a woven tatami mat near a small iron hearth is Master Nan-in. He is an old man, thin and unhurried, resting his hands lightly on his knees. Tokusan bows, a mechanical gesture of politeness, but he does not wait to be addressed. He immediately begins to speak. His voice fills the quiet chamber, resonant and assertive. He quotes ancient texts. He analyzes complex doctrines. He breaks down spiritual paradoxes with mathematical precision. Every sentence is designed to display his vast reading. Every thought is structured to establish his superiority before a single question can be asked. He speaks of the nature of the mind, of effort, of discipline, and of mastery. He speaks continuously for several minutes, presenting his theories like a general deploying troops on a battlefield. Master Nan-in does not interrupt. He does not nod in admiration, nor does he shake his head in disapproval. He remains perfectly still, his breathing slow, his eyes resting on the scholar with quiet, penetrating clarity. He sees right through the dense cloud of words. He sees a man trapped inside a prison of his own intellect, a man who has spent a lifetime collecting keys, but has never actually opened a single door. In our modern world, we wear this exact same armor. We collect degrees, certificates, metrics, and technical vocabularies. We enter conversations not to listen, but to wait for our turn to speak. We approach new problems with old blueprints, convinced that past success guarantees future understanding. But intellect without humility is merely noise. It is a shield that prevents reality from touching us, insulating us from the raw, uncomfortable truths that fuel true growth. Chapter 3: The Tea Ceremony. Seeing that words would only add to the scholar's mental noise, Master Nan-in silently moves toward the hearth. He does not join the debate. Instead, he simply offers hospitality. With slow, deliberate movements, the master places a small, handcrafted porcelain cup on the low wooden table between them. The cup is empty, pristine, its white inner surface reflecting the faint glow of the charcoal fire. Nan-in reaches for the heavy iron teapot resting above the embers. The steam rises in thin, swirling ribbons into the cool air of the room. He lifts the kettle with steady hands and positions the spout over Tokusan's cup. The scholar stops his lecture, momentarily thrown off balance by the master's silence. He watches as the dark, amber liquid begins to pour. It strikes the bottom of the cup with a soft, rhythmic hiss. The tea rises steadily, filling the lower basin, creeping up the smooth porcelain sides until it reaches the thin lip of the rim. Tokusan expects the master to stop. It is the natural end of the gesture. The cup is filled to capacity. But Master Nan-in's hands do not move. He does not tilt the iron kettle back. He continues to pour at the exact same steady pace. The amber liquid breaks over the lip. It streams down the outer porcelain walls, pooling onto the dark wooden tray below. The scholar blinks, assuming the old master's hand has slipped or that his eyesight has failed him in the dim light. Yet the stream remains unbroken. The tea fills the tray, reaches the wooden edge, and begins to cascade onto the clean straw tatami mats. The warm liquid splashes softly against the hem of Tokusan's fine silk robes. Chapter 4: The Breaking Point. For a moment, Tokusan is paralyzed by confusion. The scene violates every rule of order, decorum, and common sense he has spent his life studying. The master is wasting the tea. He is ruining the floor. He is acting with blatant absurdity. As the pool expands toward his knees, Tokusan's composure cracks. His academic detachment evaporates, replaced by sharp irritation. He jumps back slightly, pointing at the overflowing vessel. "It is full," Tokusan shouts, his voice echoing sharply against the wooden beams of the temple. "No more will go in. Can you not see that the cup can hold no more?" Master Nan-in pauses. He gently sets the heavy iron teapot back onto the iron stand above the fire. The steam rises quietly into the space between them. The master looks up, his eyes meeting the scholar's startled gaze. There is no anger in the master's face, no mockery, no pride, only an absolute motionless calm. "Like this cup," Nan-in says softly, his voice carrying the weight of unshakable truth, "you are full of your own opinions, your own ideas, your own assumptions, and your own theories. How can I show you Zen? How can I teach you anything new unless you first empty your cup?" The quiet words hit Tokusan harder than a physical blow. The silence in the room suddenly becomes deafening. In an instant, the scholar's vast library of knowledge collapses. He looks down at the overflowing tray, at the liquid soaking into the floor, and finally understands the physical parable. He did not come to the mountain as a student. He came as a vessel filled to the brim with stagnant water, demanding that the ocean be poured on top of it. Chapter 5: Deconstructing Ego. The lesson of the overflowing cup is not an ancient relic. It is an urgent diagnostic tool for modern life. We live in an age of hyperinformation, where we are constantly encouraged to form instant opinions, defend rigid identities, and project absolute authority. We confuse having access to information with possessing wisdom. As a result, most people walk through life with a cup that is permanently full. When your cup is full of past accomplishments, you become defensive when challenged. You treat new ideas as threats to your identity rather than opportunities for expansion. When your cup is full of certainty, you stop observing. You miss the subtle signals of a changing market, the quiet breakdown of a relationship, or the internal warning signs of mental burnout. You rely on outdated operating systems to navigate uncharted territory. This is invisible friction. It is the silent killer of elite performance. The moment you declare yourself an expert, you stop learning. The moment you believe you have arrived, your decline begins. To break this pattern, you must cultivate what the Japanese call Shoshin, the beginner's mind. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. The beginner approaches every situation with curiosity rather than judgment. The beginner asks questions to understand, not to win. The beginner is willing to look foolish today so they can become formidable tomorrow. Chapter 6: The Empty Vessel. Emptying your cup is not a passive act. It is an intentional, daily ritual of unlearning. It requires the courage to dismantle your own assumptions before reality forces you to do so. First, practice active intellectual humility. When entering a room, a negotiation, or a new project, consciously drop the need to be the smartest person present. Audit your internal dialogue. Are you listening to absorb, or are you preparing your defense? Second, embrace the discomfort of being wrong. Treat your beliefs not as concrete pillars of your identity, but as temporary hypotheses subject to revision. When presented with superior evidence, discard the old blueprint without regret. Finally, schedule regular periods of mental purging. Step away from inputs, metrics, and digital noise. Create silence in your schedule so that the sediment in your mind can settle, revealing the raw, unvarnished truth of your current reality. Mastery is not about accumulating more weight. It is about stripping away everything that is unnecessary. It is the relentless pursuit of clarity over validation. As you step back into your world today, look at the challenges ahead of you. Put down the heavy scrolls of your past achievements. Drop the defensive armor of your intellect. Empty your cup. Release your certainty. Step into the fire of the unknown not as a master who knows all, but as an unbreakable student ready to learn.